pass out. Fatima ended up in the hospital because she was bleeding. They said she was okay though, but Zay feels like something's wrong. And based on the spoiler photos, something is going to be wrong, y'all. Based on those photos, something actually will be wrong. But yeah, Zach feels like something's wrong. Bryce and Preston ended up confronting Zach because he didn't get an inspector. And Zach found out that Leslie has been stalking Fatima. But hey, y'all, welcome back to another review of Life of Chester for Tyler Perry's Zatima Season 4, Episode 10. Was that the mid-season finale? I think it was. If I'm not mistaken, it was. I don't know. Let me know down below, y'all. But yeah, on today's new episode, they started with Zach and Fatima, and basically Zach was just asking Fatima what's wrong. He could tell something was off, but she wasn't saying anything. She asked him to get out the bathroom because she needed to use it and stuff like that. But I'm assuming she just didn't want him to continue seeing her face or whatever. I think it was. One, the pain, because last episode she was in pain and stuff like that. So that's another thing. She told the truth about the stalking and stuff. Well, technically, Angela told. But yeah, he found out about the stalking. I just realized she didn't tell him that she been steady having all these pains and stuff. I don't even know if she told the doctor. But yeah, he was asking her what's wrong. She was saying that everything's okay. She just wasn't able to sleep, stuff like that. They ended up going outside preparing to go to work, and Deja was already indirectly snitching. She was already indirectly snitching. She implied that she knew something that Zach didn't know, and they was on a mission together and everything. Yeah, she over here talking about, so she on the watch, she just standing in front of the doggone car with that loud old outfit on. Somebody she watching and stuff. I was like, girl, just tell at this point. Might as well told him then. She might as well have told. She shouldn't have gave Angela the opportunity to tell the truth. But at least he knows now. At least he knows that much. But yeah, hopefully they look in the house and see their camera. But I'm assuming they not, because they showed in the trailer where somebody was breaking in and they was going down the steps looking to see who it was. But yeah, what else happened? They showed Jeremiah. He was trying to talk to this dude to get some stuff to get high. I said he already trying to get high. He was steady trying to see his mama. Might as well get him out the way. So he ends up getting in and stuff like that. The dude was saying how he gonna have him work for him. I said no. I want it better for you, Jeremiah. But they show him later he high, and he sees his mom again, and she was telling him how he got people who love him. Zach loves him. He was like, no, Zach don't love me and all this stuff. So she was just telling him that Zach loved him and stuff like that, and he don't need to be there in that place. And he started talking about, so he trying to come where she at, and she was telling him no, and she ends up saying goodbye. She ends up saying goodbye. I don't know if he gonna eventually get himself together. I'm hoping that he do. We'll see. What else? Let's see. Angela ends up going into Fatima's office, and she looked like she was about to pass out then. I also questioned because it cut off for me. I don't know if it cut off for y'all. But it got to the part where Angela had injected herself again. Then next thing you know, she felt like she was about to pass out. She picked up the phone. Then she put the phone down. Did she end up falling out or not, y'all? But yeah, she ends up telling Fatima she hasn't been feeling well, and Fatima ends up agreeing that she hasn't been feeling well either. And then it got to a point where she looked like she was about to pass out, but Fatima ends up telling Angela that Leslie showed up to the house again, and Zach still doesn't know. She was trying to convince her that things are getting out of hand. She needs to tell Zach and tell him right now. So that's when it got to the point where she looked like she was about to pass out. Fatima ends up asking her. She was like, she just, I think she said she hadn't eaten anything or something like that. I don't know what she said. So Fatima was like, let's go to the break room. We could eat something together. We could find some food. And she was like, she don't need her to tell her what to do. Basically the same thing Fatima was saying the other day. But yeah, what happened after that? They showed Zach at work, and that's when him and Preston are talking, and Zach had forgot to get an inspector. So Preston was telling him about that. He was like, it's no problem. He gonna try to find somebody. Bryce came in talking crazy. I said, I don't think this is gonna be the last time they get into it. I mean, they right, because if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it right. And they shouldn't have to sacrifice because you got whatever you got going on or whatever. Now, I think Preston explained it better than Bryce, though. Bryce always talking like he in charge or something. He even said how, he he didn't say he was the assistant. He said they may think of him as the assistant. He's like, he nobody assistant. But yeah, Preston was like, he gonna try to find somebody. And next thing you know, here come Bryce. Bryce ends up telling him, what's going on? You been MIA. I said, you just want him there so you could be in his face. But no, he wasn't wrong, y'all. He wasn't, because Preston agreed with him. But yeah, Bryce ends up telling him he been in MIA. He's disappointed in him because he's usually on top of things. Preston ends up coming in, breaking it up and stuff like that. And Preston admits that Bryce is right. They was counting on the inspector, and they end up mentioning how he missed the lunch as well. And he was saying how he tried to convince them to reschedule and stuff. They was talking like, I said, well, it's nothing he could do now. I said, he married. Well, he ain't married yet, but he about to get married and he got a baby on the way. Like, he has to find that balance. And that's why I said I like the way Preston put things or whatever, because Bryce need to get it together. But yeah, what else? Zach ends up saying how he could do both, and he was like, "Yeah, we could go talk to the inspector because Preston said there was an inspector. Excuse me, because Preston said there was an inspector on the phone. He about to go in the office so they could talk, and Zach wanted to come too, but he got a call. He got a call from Fatima. I said, "Oh my goodness, wrong time." But he ends up getting a call. She was like, she's spotting, she on the way to the hospital, so he ends up saying he coming, and he ends up going. He ends up going. I like how he show up. I'm just ready to see, the business side of things as well. Angela ends up telling Zach that, she hasn't seen Fatima, they haven't said anything. So he ends up seeing the same lady from the rehab, and she ends up helping him get in to see Fatima. That's when he wanted to know what's going on. Fatima ends up saying everything's okay and all this other stuff. I said, don't look like it to me. She ends up saying how she'll sit down if that's what the doctor say. But the doctor came in, talking about wait, I think this was before. Hold on, I'm skipping a part. Yeah, I did skip a part. Before the doctor came in, Angela ends up mentioning Leslie. Ends up telling what she's been doing, the fact that she's been stalking and stuff like that. They didn't want to tell Zach anything, so Fatima finally admits everything. I don't think she told about the car situation that she left for Toy, but regardless, they're going to have to find that doggone camera. They're going to have to find the camera. Zach was like, he going to be calm. He not going to do nothing. He ain't going to go after nobody, but he is going to get a bodyguard, and he not taking, it's not up for discussion. I said, right on. I said, exactly, because she in danger. And technically, he wasn't wrong when he said she putting the baby in danger. She over here, she putting herself in danger, too. This girl is going to the extreme because she feel like, because her husband or ex-husband, I don't know exactly, because he want her. And the crazy part about it is, how you gonna be mad when you sit up here and did her wrong? You acting like she betrayed you or something. The way she acting, that's crazy in the mood. But yeah, the doctor comes in. Excuse me. The doctor ends up coming in saying Fatima needs to find balance, but the baby's okay, so she don't have to sit down and nothing like that. Cause Zach was saying, so she needs to take it easy, right? Or whatever. Just putting words in the doctor's mouth. And the doctor was like, no, actually, she just needs to find balance. The baby's okay, but at the same time, you could tell something's off. Fatima just isn't disclosing everything. The fact that she been in pain for a long time. But Zach was like, He's like, son, don't feel right. He said something about this doesn't feel right. And how did he say his real name? DeVal. They were saying DeVal did the interview about the ending scene for season 4, and it's something about the baby, and it triggered him because of what him and his wife went through. And people were speculating that Fatima's gonna have a miscarriage. I said, I would hope they wouldn't do that again. Didn't Karen just have a miscarriage? I said, come on now. I said, if they do that, I'm going to assume that they don't really like Zach like that, because the man they haven't let up off of him yet. I know that's life, and a lot of stuff happen to people back to back, because seeing somebody saying nothing, that's not realistic. Back to back stuff don't happen to people. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. But I was like, come on now, give Zach a break. I said, just give him a break at this point. I'm assuming nothing happens to the baby. Maybe something almost happened to the baby. Maybe that's going to be the cliffhanger. That maybe the baby going to be struggling and stuff like that. I don't know, y'all. We'll see. They still have done a scene where Fatima's in like this beige dress, and it look like she's in a bathroom stall or something. I'm assuming they was at court or something about Zach. I don't know. But either way it goes, she's in the bathroom stall. We haven't seen that. We haven't seen the scene. Obviously, Leslie had on an orange jumpsuit. It's something else. I just seen a photo. Was that it? I think it was a photo of Zach and the boys. I don't know. They looking at somebody. They haven't shown that Bryce is there as well. It's another scene that they have not shown. What was the other one? What was the other one? It was something, y'all. I can't think of it right now. But yeah, aside from that, let's see. Fatima ends up promising to take it easy, but she still was like she want to drive herself to the office to get her car and all this other stuff, and they had a disagreement about that. I already talked about Jeremiah, so we might as well fast forward. Bryce ends up calling Zach to apologize. Zach ends up saying it's him, it's his fault, he dropped the ball, but he gonna get it together, he gonna fix things. When Fatima said she wanted to go to the office and drive herself, he was like, no, all this stuff don't matter right now. Zach feels some type of way. He ends up saying that Fatima's putting the baby at risk. She got mad. She was like, how can you say something like that? I mean, she's not wrong. I mean, he's not wrong or whatever, because technically she is, because you spend all this time lying to him about this crazy girl, even though you see that she crazy and she wants your life. So if she wearing a fake belly, I'm assuming she want to take that baby too. I'm assuming she want to take that baby. So technically he's not wrong. But Fatima still want to do everything on her own and deal with things how she want to deal with things. And once again, they haven't learned to deal with freaking squad. So I think the last thing, well, actually, it was two things. CPS ends up not following her, but seeing Connie outside. She got all her stuff. Why are they not showing me my notifications? Hold on. Connie's outside or whatever, and apparently the kids are okay. They okay or whatever. Excuse me. Yeah, the CPS worker ends up asking Connie if she's being honest about the fire. Cause she said something about she was cooking in some grease. The reason why it caught fire is because of the grease. And she was like, "Did that really happen or whatever?" I was like, "That didn't happen, did it?" I said, "She was asleep, wasn't she?" I think she was sleeping, if I'm not mistaken. But she still has the kids, but she's still being investigated. It's an open investigation because they don't believe her. They think that she caused the fire. I don't know if they think. Actually, I don't know if they think that she caused the fire intentionally or that she, so sick. But who reported her is what I want to know. Who told that she was endangering the kids or that she was sick? I was like, it's not that many people that know she's sick, is it? I know Tony know. I know that lady at the hospital know. Y'all think she did it? Do y'all think she did it? I don't know, y'all. But yeah, she didn't believe her about the fire. I think they was working on getting the kids in her a hotel or motel or something to stay at and everything. But yeah, she being investigated, so I'm assuming they gonna take the kids. I'm assuming they gonna end up taking the kids. What else? Said something about it may be child endangerment, and I think the last thing is Angela, unless I'm mistaken, because once again they cut off. It cut off at the part where she had got to the house. She went in. She injected herself again. Then she just, I think that was the other day though. She injected herself again. And next thing you know, she immediately started getting sick. She ended up grabbing her phone. I'm assuming she was calling 911 or she was calling Fatima. Because they uploaded a spoiler clip where, how they be getting these spoiler clips? I said, now that somebody got to be leaking this stuff intentionally. But somebody dropped the little spoiler clip where Fatima came in and she trying to wake Angela up and stuff like that, but I don't think it had no audio. But you could tell she was trying to wake her up. She was passed out, so I'm assuming that's who she called. Or either she came over there, but I don't know, y'all. That's all that happened, unless I'm mistaken. Let me know. But that's it. That's all. What did y'all think of that episode? If this is the mid-season finale, do y'all think that everything that has happened thus far is worthy of this? I didn't say that right. Do y'all think this was a good mid-season finale? Let me know. I think it was. I think it was good. I'm ready for them to catch Leslie. What else am I ready for? I want to see if Preston ends up with Deja or Angela. I kind of want to see Angela and Sean together. I kind of want to see them together. I kind of want to see Sean show up for her and just reassure her once again and stuff like that. Well, I don't think that really matters. I don't think him showing up to reassure her about herself is going to help her. I think that ultimately it's up to her to love who she is and what she sees when she look in the mirror and stuff like that. But that's it. That's all. Let me know y'all thoughts down below. Stay tuned for the next review. Until next time, deuces. Have a great rest of the day. Be